Okay guys, are you ready to make another fall goodie? Another faux dessert for fall? I have some cupcakes that I made, oh gosh, a while back. And I always, whenever I use the spray insulation, I will get different cupcake liners and make them ahead of time so I don't have to do that. You can look back on other videos I've done where I've shown you the process of getting this ready and spraying it in. So today what we're going to do is I put some orange, and this is Anita's all-purpose acrylic, and it's autumn orange. Obviously you see the color here. It's not the color. Once it hits that white, just always remember, and I've said this before, you're going to get a completely different color, okay? Because you're mixing it with white, so you're going to get a pastel. And I like this because of what I'm going to put on top of these. It'll go pretty. So I have that ready, and I'm going to put it into my 16-inch pastry bag with a closed star. So I'm going to get this in the bag and I'll be back. Okay, I have the spackle in my pastry bag. And now I'm going to just frost . Okay, and believe it or not, you end up using quite a bit of spackle. I know it wouldn't seem like it, but you do. We'll do one more, and then I'll do the rest off the camera, and then we'll come back. Okay, I'll be back once I'm done, and then we will put the toppers on them. Okay. So I have them all frosted, and I have a couple of pumpkins on these, and I'm going to paint the other ones a little bit different color so they're not all the same. And now I'm going to take some of my sprinkles that I made from my Sculpey, and I'm just going to put some on here just to give it a little bit more color. And then I'm going to do a couple with the brown and orange mixed. Those will be cute. And I have a video on how to make the sprinkles as well. Okay, so there they are so far. When I get my pumpkins onto them and where they're going to go, I'll show you. Okay, for our pumpkins, our Thanksgiving pumpkins for a part of our sweet treat series, I couldn't find little enough pumpkins to decorate the top once I frost them, and I want something on there. So I went ahead and I took my air dry clay and I made my own pumpkins, okay? And I painted them, and then I'm gonna wait for these to dry. And then I made little stems out of the air dry clay too, and I will paint them. I'm going to show you how to make one of these pumpkins, and they're very easy. Just take a little bit of your air dry clay. Now, depends on how big you want it. You're just going to make it into a ball, okay? This is kind of a big one. I don't want quite that big. Because I might put 2 on a cupcake. That's the fun part when you start embellishing. And I have one of these hors d'oeuvre plastic toothpicks, but you can use anything. It doesn't matter what you use. And I'm going to make it into a ball, okay? But then I'm going to flatten it just a little bit, okay? Just a little. Then I'm going to take the toothpick and I'm going to make indentations around it. And then just squeeze it a little bit so it's a little flat on the top. Then I'm going to take this part and I'm going to put just a little hole. I hope you can see that. But you see the way that is with the indentations and then the hole? And then I'll make just a little stem. And all I'm going to do with that is I'm just going to take a little piece and make it elongated and flatten out the bottom a little bit and bring this to a little bit more of a point, and then you can curve it or do whatever you want with it, but then that will sit in the pumpkin, okay? But I'm not going to have it dry inside of it because I want to paint this separately, and then I'll just take a little bit of glue and glue it on. So what I'm going to do now, and now you can let these dry if you want before you paint them. I'm going to go ahead and paint mine now. I have some paint left over from the little pumpkin slices that I did. So I'm just going to take and use that paint to paint this pumpkin. So when these are dry, we'll come back and we'll do the stems. And then we'll decorate the top of our cupcakes. We are going to finish our cupcakes for our fall sweet treat table. And what I've done is I've just put some matte Mod Podge onto the cupcakes. And now we're just going to embellish them with the little pumpkins that I was making the other day. Okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue them, and I made some of the pumpkins and some of the leaves, tiny leaves, stems from the clay. Okay, so here again is what they look like, and I think this lime green just really adds to the cupcake. But I felt it needed the little curlicues. You know the little curlicues on pumpkins? Well, I took some of my wire, and this is 24 gauge wire. It's craft wire. And I just took, you can take anything, I took a piece of wire and then wrapped it around a paintbrush, and I wrapped it really tight, okay? And then I squished it together as much as it would go together. And then cut it off. Took it off the paintbrush stick, and that's what you have, okay? And now I'm pulling it up a little bit, and I'm going to cut 2 or 3 pieces, and this will be the curlicue for my cupcake. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint it green so it's not gold on there. So I'll get 3 pieces out of this. Okay? So then you just come in with your paint. Take your curlicue and just paint it. Okay? And then I'm going to let those dry.